Hello and welcome. I'm so glad you're here. My name is Joseline John. I'm a registered nurse, a sleep science coach, and also the author of Sleep Tight, the #1 secret to achieving your dreams. Today is a very special dialogue and session because I have a very, very special guest and you're going to get a lot of value out of this. Why? Because I met Grace through our shared passion. Grace is a self-acclaimed, she likes to say self-acclaimed, I have to add that to it too, self-acclaimed suicide prevention awareness and prevention advocate. Did I say that right?
Yes.
And why is this important? Because we connect through this mission, and it's the same story I share in my book, how having suicidal ideation for the first time in my life was shocking and something that I didn't think would happen because people call me sunshine in their lives. And so then it allowed me to reassess my life and pay more attention to my mental wellness. And so in this session today, we're going to dialogue and share our stories, also share with you practical tools you can actually use right away to boost your mental health so that you can also take care of your physical health, and knowing that we do have 6 areas of health for us to be optimal and live a joyful, productive life. We will go into those, but we also know that sleep is an important pillar that surpasses other health pillars, because when you have high quality sleep, you can exercise better, you can manage your stress better. And so we'll dive into all these things and all empowering you to boost your mental health and live a healthier and joyful and productive life. So please help me welcome Grace, because I'm super excited with this shared mission of ours. And we met, I'll let you tell how we met, but it's divine intervention, everyone. Let me tell you that God or the universe has created the path that you're going to go through. And as long as you're not making it harder for yourself to be in that path, as long as you're doing everything on your part and living good and healthy values, then God will allow you to be on your path. And so divine intervention has happened to us. It has.
Indeed.
And we are not here because it's an accident. I just feel like this is a must-watch video because just the way that it has happened, it's probably for someone to change their lives. God, like I just feel like right now we're just being guided, and we receive and welcome and appreciate divine intervention as we do this, so that you know what, we just allow the Holy Spirit to guide us as we speak to people who are hoping to uplift themselves out of a difficult situation. Some people who can't sleep right now and who are hoping to have that peaceful sleep they've been looking for. And here we are. So God help us.
God help us. God help us. Thank you so much, Joseline, for the nice and beautiful welcome. I am feeling so privileged to be here, and to God and to you, because you could have said no, but I met Joseline on TikTok. TikTok. Sometimes when I think about it, I almost cannot believe it.
I'm having goosebumps.
Imagine your name, or sleep is health, right? Sleep is health is her TikTok handle, and actually all her handles, even IG and YouTube. And it caught my eye, and I'm like, I need to look at this. So I looked, and what I saw, I didn't even go to IG. I just shoot an inbox. I was impressed. I wanted to know, what is this? Sleep is health. And then your content, I'm like, this is so me, so many things. And then finally we connected on IG, and since then history has been made.
Yes, the divine intervention is actually in practice.
Absolutely. And so she wanted me to introduce myself, right?
Yes.
My name is Grace.
Yeah.
I think I am super excited by this subject because it touches me personally. I know it touches you. I don't know if there's anybody who sleeps 100%. Maybe just you now.
Well,
and the people probably you have helped because she helps people to get to achieve dreams. But before even dreams, to achieve sleep.
yes.
After reading this, I feel that this can help people achieve dream, their sleep before the dreams. My interpretation. She has this beautiful book. It's called Sleep Tight. You better get this book because I have read it, and we're gonna highlight some things here today. And so please buy it. Reach out to me, reach out to Joseline. You're gonna get your copy as soon as possible. So
Thank you.
you ready? We talk about the book?
Yes.
Yeah, even before I read the book, really,
Yes.
because I had not read the book. You remember when I remember the date. It was July 13 when I text you. Yeah, it was. Yeah. So my thing was, what is this? Sleep is health. What is this? So I wanted to find out. So I scrolled, I looked at your content, and all you're talking about is about surviving and thriving, not just surviving. It was all about, actually, in a nutshell, it was about mental health,
Yes.
which is what I do. Yeah. Yes, I may focus on suicide awareness and prevention. And she said, as an advocate, that's what I talk about in a nutshell. I don't talk about specifically sleep, but I talk about mental health. It's an umbrella. It has so many other issues under it, and you have tackled this so well.
Yeah, because
so well.
a lack of sleep negatively affects mental health.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's why I was intrigued, and I said, a lot, or maybe many of the things I am talking about, because when I invite people and I interview them, people will talk about the things or their experiences, especially here in the diaspora. They'll talk about what they have gone through. And even not even thinking about the interviewees that I have had, even myself, I have gone through those things here to a place where I felt like I didn't want to be here anymore. And then you the same thing.
Yes.
And then everybody that I have talked to, that thing goes on. And when you listen, the circle is the same. Work,
Yes.
no sleep, work, no sleep, work. It's a cycle. It's a cycle. And I said we have to connect.
Yes.
So that you tell me, what do we need to do? What does she need to do? What does he need to do to get the best sleep? So to start off, I'm talking too much, but to start off, what is sleep anyway? Why are you writing about sleep? Don't tell us why you're writing, but what is sleep anyway?
Thank you. That's a great question. So, sleep is a restorative process that is embedded into our existence.
Yes.
We are designed on the basis of rest.
We are
And
designed on the basis of rest.
Yes.
I like
Humans,
that.
we are
I
designed
like
on the
that.
basis
Can I
of
interrupt you
rest.
because that's so divine. Divine connection.
Yes.
Remember when God created us,
Yes.
the seventh day, he created man,
Yes.
but he gave him a day to rest just after he created the day.
Yes. Yes.
I like that.
Yeah. So, I can talk about sleep just at a psychological level,
Yes.
and then at a biological level. And
Yes.
so at a psychological,
Yeah.
just like subjective level,
Right.
sleep is an opportunity for a complete body restoration. That's just in general.
Yes.
Okay. And someone might be asking, oh, why do I need restoration?
Right.
Because biologically
Yeah.
speaking,
Yeah.
we are designed on the basis of rest.
Right.
To impress upon you why this is the case,
Yeah.
even when we are sitting down, our body is spending energy. I looked at research when I was writing the book. It actually shows you the percentage of how much each organ spends at a metabolic level. Metabolic level meaning at rest. When you sit down, even though you might not subjectively think you are doing something, your body is actually working, running all your organs and systems to actually keep you alive. That is work that the body does that requires rest in order for that work to continue, especially to continue optimally.
Exactly.
So that's one way of thinking about sleep, right? And then at a more objective and biological level, what is sleep? What really happens when we sleep? What's going on? What is sleep, right? So sleep, back in 1950s, some researchers got together and they were trying to figure this out. And in a nutshell, they end up deciding that sleep is nothing but just change in brain waves. It's just the idea that how the brain is operating and helping us. I'm sure you all remember the biology class back in the day. It all starts from the brain, and then the brain is going to signal the body to do things. So in the same way, so the brain is operating at a different energy frequency in the day than in the night. It's just that we are going to have change in brain waves to allow the brain to slow down, to turn on different mechanisms to allow the sleep to happen. So that is the first part of defining sleep, is understanding that it's just really changing brain waves, and then to allow the actual sleep cycle to begin. So then we have to think about what is actually sleep, because sleep itself is that change in brain waves, but it also has different types. There's different types of sleep, and then that come together to make a sleep cycle. So we have non-REM sleep, meaning non-rapid eye movement sleep, and then we have rapid eye movement sleep. When you combine non-rapid eye movement sleep and rapid eye movement sleep together, it together formulate a sleep cycle. And we will go through several sleep cycles throughout the night for adults, in order to have a well-rested mind body for you to be healthy and actually prevent the effects of sleep deprivation. The amount of sleep required is 7 to 9 hours per night. And we can talk later about some of the things that actually happens if we don't get enough sleep. So basically, so the non we can actually talk about it a little bit more while I share my story, because
that's what I was gonna say.
There is one sleep cycle I'm going through right now, and the kind of sleep cycle I used to have.
You used to
when I worked as a nurse doing night
and
shifts.
do you know that is the other thing that connected me to you too, because now when we spoke finally, I was able to pre-order your book, and I started reading it.
Thank you.
And one of the things that amazing, I was reading by myself, and I'm like, I think I text you, because I read and I just text. I said, gosh, Joseline, this is me. Night RN, you work nights. You work 2 days a week. I work 3 days. That was the only difference. But when I saw your story, even like a little, it's a light moment, but it's sad to think about it, because it happens to us. You're taking report, but you cannot even grasp every little thing. And right there, I'm like, Jesus, that's me. Sometimes I'm like, just get done, and I'm just gonna get in the computer and look it up myself. But the bedside report is important, because this person had this patient all day. So you need to hear what went on. Anywho,
and I like what you said. Sorry to interrupt, because when you first started off, you were talking about sleep and dreams, and then we're talking about reports, going to work, and not actually being able to understand the report because you're sleep deprived. I would like to connect all this together while telling my story, if that's okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Because you see, I come from Burundi, all the way from Burundi, and then we lived in Malawi. Well, we lived in Tanzania, and then we lived in Malawi.
Yeah. Another connection, by the way, viewers.
We are all East Africans.
East Africa.
East Africa.
I know.
So, the life we lived in Burundi was great. You know, my parents provided everything, went to school, and then the war began. So we moved to Tanzania, and then we moved to Malawi. While in Malawi, I got a prestigious scholarship to come to study in Canada. And thanks to the World University Services of Canada, they provide scholarships for people to come to study in Canada. So because of the life I lived, you know, moving around a lot and living in a refugee camp, when I got the scholarship and I got on the plane, I thought, whoa, I'm gonna be like, I'm a successful person, first of all, by getting on the plane. But
and everybody else thinks the same way at home.
Yes, like getting on the plane is successful. But I want to connect this to wellness, because when we have been exposed to survival, all we knew was survival. Now, coming to Canada, I expected that the survival was done, because guess what? I'm in Canada,
land of honey and milk,
land of honey and milk and opportunities. But integration is actually a challenge, and there is research to show that immigrants, people who are integrating into a new country, they actually work long hours. Often they are working 2 to 3 jobs. They're not sleeping because they are wanting to help. Let me stick to my story anyways. For me, it was very, very, very exciting getting in Canada. And I started off realizing people don't understand how the other world works. So one thing I noticed was even being able to call my parents back, even if I wasn't stressed with the job. I used to stay up trying to call my my parents. And then another thing, because I was staying up calling my parents, and at the same time I was trying to study, and I actually bought into the energy drinks and caffeine. I was like, well, I can drink a lot of caffeine and energy drinks. That gives me ability to stay up and just talk to my family back home, while also being able to.
Quick question: were you working also?
I was going
at this time.
I was taking classes. I was going to work, but I was working just a little bit here and there. But I thought that I was actually hacking life by doing that. But now,
which is what us diasporans do. No pun intended. I mean, we have to do that sometimes. We have to do that. But that's our life. When, especially when we first come, and sometimes it's even our life even way after. And that is why Sleep Tight book is so important. For you to tell us how to come out of that. And you as a nurse, you have in your book, you've talked about, you know, even after going to school, now you're a nurse, even to kind of get things going, all the things you had to go through. At what point did you get to realize, no, this staying up at night calling family, this staying up studying, and morning going to work, and now I am a nurse actually. So you pull it from there. Now you're a nurse. You have succeeded. You are a nurse, yet you're still living the same life you were living when you were studying, right? Because now you're working even more. So tell us, even as you tell us how that was, the work part, when did you get to that turning point? You were like, I cannot do this anymore.
Yeah, that's a great question. So that's interesting, because me getting like drinking energy drinks and caffeine, working, that was actually when I was doing my first degree. I was doing a degree in health sciences. And I want to highlight for people that wellness and good health is basically the biggest resources we have.
Right.
So when we are stuck in a situation, or you come to a new country, you are integrating, it presents a big challenge for you. It's a problem that you have to solve. The fact that you need money, you need to talk to your family, and
you need to help the family,
and you have to have a family. So there are problems to be solved.
Right.
But I think in general, it all turned around when basically I want to say that I became a better problem solver. Actually, that is probably the nerdiest way to explain this.
Yeah.
The fact that I had problems to solve.
Yes.
And I acknowledged that me having optimal health, having long-lasting energy, was actually the best resource I had to solve my problems.
Right.
And knowing that, I realized, oh no, I need to actually focus on my health. And specifically, when I was actually like not sleeping well in university, it was more of like a temporary thing. So there's different types of sleep problems. So you can have people have situational sleep deprivation or lack of sleep because, you know, I'm just staying up late to study. But knowing if you decide to sleep, your body can still be able to sleep. So that kind of problem is almost like self-inflicted, because you know that your body has the ability to sleep, but you are actually making a choice, or maybe you think oh, I have no choice,
I'll catch up.
But actually I am strongly about choice when I think about choice, because even when you're not making a choice, you're already making a choice. So then if you can't sleep, but you're making a choice to stay up, that was me in university. And that led me to actually I ended up having active TB at the time. And I just want to explain very carefully around that, because sleep deprivation weakens your immune system. So there is research showing that lack of sleep reduces the immune cells called natural killer cells that are supposed to protect you against disease, including cancer. Natural killer cells that protect you from cancer.
That was for me was like, what?
Even one night of sleep deprivation will reduce the immune cells, natural killer cells, by 70%. These are natural killer cells that protect you from cancer, and this is why sleep deprivation has been associated with specifically bowel cancer, prostate cancer, and breast cancer. That
for me was like, oh my gosh.
Yes. And for me, what happened was I stayed up drinking energy drinks and taking caffeine. Over time, and the highlight is I could still sleep, but I was choosing to do that because I thought I was hacking life, which was ignorance. I can say that about myself. And then it went to the point where my immune system was so weak that my TB was activated. If I used to be a TB nurse, so if people have lived in a TB prone areas, crowded areas, especially Africa, the chances are you have actually acquired TB. But the thing is, your immune system,
if it's compromised,
if your immune system is strong, the immune system can continue to actually like create protections around the TB, because TB is caused by bacteria. The immune system is actually much better at handling bacteria compared to viruses that can be a little bit requires more work from the immune system. So then, because I had already been exposed in the past, so when sleep deprivation weakened my immune system, then that TB that was me, that had been protected, the immune system was fine. And interestingly, we all have a lot of like bugs inside of us, but the immune system is able to handle everything, and we are fine. But sleep deprivation then weakened my immune system, and I had active TB. I was hospitalized for a long time, because active TB is a big public health, because it's it's transmitted by droplet, so it's important. If people have active, meaning it's active and it's affecting their lungs. I was on the stairs in university and I started coughing up blood. Ooh. And I went all the way to the hospital. Yeah, it's interesting. Wow. So anyways, interesting that what's interesting is not the fact that I got sick, but the fact that this story actually like is that story that was really made a huge impact on my life. So anyhow, and at the time I think I hadn't gone to nursing school, so maybe I didn't understand all these things I'm explaining to you. No, I didn't know how about sleep and this knowledge I'm giving you. Right. But fast forward, when now I become a registered nurse, and I'm thinking I've lived, I've gone through different challenges, and I'm thinking life is supposed to be better. Of course, they tell you when you finish school, life will be much better
because there's money.
And then, I started off doing night shifts, 2 days on. It used to be 2 days days, 2 days nights, 4 days on, 4 days off. Now you asked me, when did it actually turn around for me? It's when I realized grace. Remember when it happened before in university? I knew I could still sleep when I chose to. And I have another story is how I actually one day I chose to sleep and like my productivity was like skyrocketed. I was like, but the problem is when I started doing night shifts, and I did night shifts for a long time to the point where now I could not sleep even when I wanted to.
Even when you're off.
Yeah. So this is the big distinction where it's like some people are choosing to stay up. But then some people actually want to sleep and can't.
They cannot.
This is why I wrote this book.
So is that the insomnia? What they call insomnia now?
Yeah, insomnia is described as inability to fall asleep, inability to maintain your sleep, or waking up in the middle of the night and not being able to go back to sleep. And if it goes on for a long period of time, a month or 2 or 3, some classification they say up to 3 months. But in general, if you haven't been able to sleep, say for a week, perhaps it could be situational. So look at your life, like I was saying, 6 areas of health. Where are you lacking, and how can you balance things up? If you are able, often after a week, you're like, okay, maybe you make changes. Like me in university, when I stopped taking the caffeine and the high energy drinks, and then I rescheduling my time with my family to talk to them, that shifted. I was able to sleep again. But insomnia is actually someone who has had these issues, can't sleep, but it's been now 3 months and nothing can help.
And probably it's affecting their quality of life.
But then when I also talk about people having insomnia, it's also not an identity. It could be that you haven't been able to sleep for a long time. It's been, say, 3 months or 4 months. But it could actually still be that you can reverse it. It's just a matter of looking at you holistically and then understanding the root cause. For me, the root cause, there were 2 root causes in my story. One, at university was just I wasn't committing to high quality sleep. When I became a nurse, the root cause was different because I was like, okay, I want to do what everybody does. Okay, I want to do what everybody does, and if other people do it, I can do it too. But the problem is, it reduced my quality of life. But before that, it affected my productivity and my work specifically. And I have seen all effects of sleep deprivation. So lack of sleep, first of all, it will mess up with your brain, your brain function. Okay. So, and Matthew Walker, the author of Why We Sleep, he calls it that lack of sleep or sleep deprivation is a low-level brain damage.
That shocked me. And and that's why I'm saying this thing was just designed by God, me and you meeting, because Matthew, you are the one actually who told me even what's his name.
I read his book. It's good to read all the great
and
books.
I had seen, this little WhatsApp videos people send to each other. This was sent to me, I don't even know by who.
You said 2018.
2018.
Yeah.
And I'm cleaning my phone and I
Yeah.
find Matthew Walker video, and I'm like, this week. And I am just shocked that even our wake time hours, it is micro is little brain damage.
Yes.
You know, so you can only imagine. Okay, so since we sat here, there's little damages happening.
Yes.
Then I don't sleep tonight, more damage tomorrow, and so on and so forth. Imagine how much brain damage you get. Anyway, that was a by the way, but very, very important aspect of not sleeping, you know.
Yeah.
Now I wanted to go to your book now directly.
Yeah, let's go. I love storytelling. I can
You
just
love
give
storytelling, but let them read for themselves.
Yeah, I know, right? I shouldn't give
be
it away.
mean a little bit. No, not really. But no, surely. I really recommend this book. I'm telling you. I don't want to say I have spent some sleepless nights reading it. Because it's going to beat the purpose of this podcast. But you really better read this book. It's for real the number one secret to achieving your dreams. And my favorite, I don't want to get to that yet, but I cannot help myself.
Let's go.
Yes, it's chapter 5. Because it's talking about mindfulness. And if you know me, if you follow me, I am big. Most of my posts, they have hashtag mindset. Almost all of them. My hashtag, because I feel like in life, you got to set your mind. You just have to set your mind in either way, negatively or positively. Right?
Yes,
right?
yes.
Either way, you're setting up your mind.
Yes.
So, chapter 5. You go read chapter 5. Let me see if I wrote something about chapter 5 that I would like to really have you mention. Chapter 5 was in page 115 actually. 103 and 102. The reason I like it, maybe I can just tell you the reason I like it, is because this girl have you seen a healthy person? Have you seen somebody who
I
runs?
cooked about breakfast. What?
Her breakfast today was, you're calling it what?
Healthitarian.
I can't even say that name. Beautiful breakfast. She wrote chapter 5 at Niagara
It's
Falls.
102. Yes.
You see how I know your book?
Yeah. Oh,
And I haven't even written that down. Niagara Falls. So that made me like it. And you're saying your own acknowledgement that just hearing the waves is like I love things like those.
Yeah.
So I was intrigued. I want to look at chapter 5. It was among the first ones that I read, believe it or not. I know you're supposed to go, but I had to go there. And then the other thing was, you call it the roof of sleep castle.
Yes.
I'm like, what? Roof? If you want to know, she has classified sleep in castle.
Yes.
Castle form. I'm not gonna what do we say when we are saying about the movie that you don't want to ruin? Like a movie that came out and you don't want to ruin it.
You don't want to.
Something.
Yeah.
Like I have watched it and you haven't watched it. So I have read it and you haven't read it. I'm not gonna tell you what castle means in this book.
Yeah, there's a castle in the book. Check it out.
Check it out. And then basically that chapter is talking about building a strong mindset for a better sleep, so you can set your mind into anything, even sleep.
And we can give them a little bit.
Yes,
here's
please.
Why mindset is important.
Yes,
for every single thing you do, there's a mindset behind it. And in that chapter, I talk specifically about how every single thing we do has a belief behind it. Watch. Every single action you take
have a belief behind it,
whether you acknowledge that belief or not. So the question is, what beliefs are running your lives that you haven't checked? Because I talk about, conscious beliefs and subconscious beliefs. Subconscious beliefs, we take them up, It's cultural.
Subconscious.
It's culturally learned. Different cultures will teach you different things.
Yes.
For example, some certain culture will teach you to believe that you're beautiful. So it doesn't matter if you go to another culture and they tell you are not. You already know that. and certain culture, they will teach you to believe that certain foods are really good for you, even when they're not. So part of being a healthitarian, I use the word healthitarian to mean someone who is thriving to be healthy, and I keep referring to the 6 areas of health. Maybe I can quickly tell people what they are.
Sure.
So 6 areas of health are, I would like to start with sleep because I think it's the number 1 area of health. And then we have exercise, and we have nutrition, and then we have relationship management, stress management, and we have toxin management. So building toxins, smoking, alcohol, it includes releasing toxins that build up in the body and avoiding toxins from coming in. So when you have high quality sleep, you are able to actually be able to have positive relationships. There is a new study I was reading, 2023, that showed that people who are sleep deprived, they tend to have high levels of anger. Did you know that anger is number 1 emotion causing stroke and heart attacks? Anger is, and there's a chapter in my book, I talk about emotions and sleep and well-being. How we manage our emotions is important.
4.
And when it's chapter 4, and when we are sleep deprived, the part of the brain that manages emotions is hyperactivated. Now everything is very hyper. A small problem becomes a big problem. It's hard to manage. You lose patience. I talk about in the book how I used to look at a cat and I'd be like, what are you looking at me at? I'm like, why are you angry at the cat? The cat is so innocent. Like you would just
displacing your anger.
Yeah, and you're just a part of it is also a lack of sleep actually reduces your decision making power. So the part of the brain that makes decision is really low and dim, while the emotion part is hyperactive. And if brain scans have shown the amygdala, the emotional part of the brain under sleep deprivation is so colorful, hyperactive. It's like working really hard. And so this is why, right? That sleep is gonna help you with relationship, nutrition. When we lack sleep, the appetite hormones are messed up. So you have increased like ghrelin levels. So this hormone that tells you are hungry, it's high, but the leptin, the hormone that tells you are full, is really low. So you don't feel full, you keep eating more. Also, research shows that sleep deprivation, because the emotion part is messed up, so you end up craving things that bring pleasure, unhealthy, high calorie foods. And also you will end up not having enough energy to exercise as well, which makes you want to eat more.
Right.
So that's on nutrition. And then look at stress management. Did you know that during REM sleep, you know how I told you there's non-REM and REM sleep? During REM sleep, and that's the only time in the entire 24 hours when the anxiety triggering hormones or neurotransmitters such as adrenaline are actually shut off. We need those neurotransmitters because of how the stress system works. Right. When we are on highway or you see a dog or you are dealing with your to-do list, you need to be able to have going on a date. When you went on a date with your husband for the first time, probably you had a little adrenaline rush, like your heart rate is up, because you want things to go well. So then your cortisol levels are up. So you need those neurotransmitters to help you go through the day, because
some of it is good
if it happens at the right time. It's almost like there's like I said, we are designed on the basis of rest. There's time for everything. There's time for you to be using the body and time for you to be resting, so you can better use the body more productively. And it also ties back into longevity. How long do you actually want to live on this earth, and what is the quality of life you would like to have? Would you want to always be low energy? I was going in order. So stress management, it will also help you with your managing your depression, because lack of sleep is messing with the ratio of your neurotransmitters, such as like you have low happy hormone. Serotonin is a good happy hormone. And then you end up having the emotional part hyperactivated, and this is why when people are sleep deprived, you catastrophize a lot. So a small problem is looked at a big problem. Disappointment constantly equals what? Depression, correct? Because you're constantly disappointed. Life is hard. You are restless and anxious. Slowly you fall into depression, and you are so disconnected from being grateful. And then you know what follows that? Fear. Because anxiety, worries takes you in this deep fear. Now you are the prisoner of your own prison, because now you start having fears. Anyway,
I saw somebody, let me cut you short. I saw somebody describe depression as a bully. You know, to yourself. You are a bully to you. You know, like how they keep, you know, they instill fear. So depression, she was trying to like in a layman language describe what it is. Just thought to put in there.
Also, another definition I've heard about depression, thank you for bringing that definition up, is that depression is the opposite of expression. So when you're sleep deprived, you are high on emotions, low on decision making. Okay, you're catastrophizing. Your expression,
you cannot express. So that's a very good one.
You
cannot express yourself.
No,
I suppose.
Is that like, say if people are angry, they're still expressing themselves, but it's like it's like the opposite of authentic expression.
Right.
But eventually it will get to absolutely no expression when people actually become, you know, as nurses dealing with mental health patients, you see people become very withdrawn. The expression is gone, but it starts slowly. And one thing we can offer today, because our story is really going in circles a lot, but like one thing we can offer is being able to just identify the symptoms. Yes. How do you know you are sleep deprived? Or how do you know if the symptoms are just something else? Okay, here we cannot diagnose, of course. That's the disclaimer. We cannot diagnose you off camera. But what we can tell you is, from my experience, what the symptoms were. And I can do like head to toe, telling you what the symptoms actually are, and like just guiding people. For example, like I was saying, so memory loss. Memory loss is one of the biggest symptoms. The most, like the one that you see right away. So memory and low attention span. Okay, and then on the long term, you have cognitive decline. So let's start with memory. So for memory, there is actually research showing that when you are sleep deprived, you actually lose 40 to 70% of your memory capacity. And research now has shown that sleep deprivation, when you lack sleep, basically your brain has inability to take on new information, because it's during sleep that the brain is rejuvenated to help you acquire new information. Now lack of sleep makes it harder for you to learn. It has happened to me. So I talk about the story here where I used to go and I'm taking a report, but I would just forget what they said. So in the middle of the report, I'm like, oh, can you repeat? What did you say? It's just my brain is sleep deprived. And also research has shown that if you have been up for 19 hours, your brain is just similar to someone who is legally drunk. Yes.
Interesting.
So the impact of sleep deprivation on the brain capacity is something that's so inevitable, and it affects you so badly, and you may end up making serious mistakes at work. And this is why there's a lot of accidents. I've heard a lot of people like getting into accidents after work. So it's really important. Watch for people at home, they can watch them. How is your memory?
Yeah.
How is your attention? Are you reading the same sentence? Let's say you are reading a book and then you have to go back to read it again.
Yeah.
Most likely you are sleep deprived. Okay. And are you asking people to repeat? Active listening and proper communication skills, effective communication skills. Those are some of the things that sellers for work, job interviews say, oh, I'm an active listener. I'm a collaborator. Did you know that sleep deprivation is affecting how you show up at work? And now it's affecting your career, and people think that it's who you are, but you can change things around. And I think it starts with identifying symptoms. So check your brain, your attention span, your creativity. Are you proud of your work? Research is showing that actually sleep deprivation will cut your creative insights by 33%.
Wow.
Yeah, and it will bring down your decision making by 50%. So these are executive functions that we need, not just to survive and enjoy life. No, not just to thrive and enjoy life, but also to advance our career. So for me, it affected me. I talk about this in my chapter 1, how this just made me look as if I was incompetent nurse. I know I'm competent, and sleep deprivation put me in this. And I just want people to acknowledge where they are. And then another thing I want to talk about is headache. So when you sleep deprived, sometimes you wake up with headache. And the reason why this is important is because there's this disease or sleep disorder called sleep apnea. It's a disorder where people stop breathing in the middle of the night, and often it's caused by different things, mainly because of like anatomy, where the breathing there is anatomically like pressure against the airway. There's like complete or partial like obstruction where the person is just not able to breathe properly. There's so many different causes. We don't that would be completely different podcast. But the reason why I talk about headache is because this sleep apnea, one of the symptoms is headache. Okay. And it's such a silent killer. A lot of people might not know they have it. I don't mean to scare people, but symptoms, that's where we start. So when people wake up with headache, it's really important to identify like why are they also snoring, having other symptoms, because it could be people could be dehydrated, or people could be that they just have headaches for different reasons. But then the main difference between the headache from sleep apnea and regular headache is that the headache associated with sleep apnea usually goes away, but say it will go away in the morning hours, whereas if you have a headache for because of something else, most likely it will sustain throughout
the day.
If it just comes in the morning and goes, I think symptoms is where we change, because even for me to be able to change, when I talk about my story, me like making a decision to take 3 months off to heal and recover and get to the bottom of the mindset that was behind what I've been doing, because the mindset has to change before you can change your life and your wellness. If all the 6 areas of health we talked about, look at them. Where are you thriving and where are you surviving and needing to improve? Okay, and look at your mindset. What is the mindset behind that is running your life right now? Is that the mindset you like to keep? Because actually my chapter starts with, are you looking for something new, perhaps a new mindset?
Exactly. And talking about survival, there's something that you're talking about on page 6, and I'll read it. But what do you mean when you say because there's a part that you have said, maybe I should look at it. But,
go ahead.
But if I can remember, it says while you may survive.
That's page 6.
While you may survive. Let me see if I'll see it.
Yeah, sure. Let's see who gets there first.
But anyway, while you may survive, that's not just the only thing that you need to do. It does not have to define your lifestyle.
Exactly.
What do you mean by that? In a short, a few sentences, please. What does that mean?
So, while you may need to survive in your circumstance right now, it doesn't have to define your entire lifestyle.
Yes.
This means that life is what it is.
Yes.
Life presents us with challenges.
Yes.
Looking at myself, I have moved, running away from war or fleeing from war, moving country to country, living in a refugee camp, having to transition. There is a lot of survival that is involved in the process. And so
but it does not have to be your life. You could have chosen it to be your lifestyle.
Yes. Because one thing I have noticed about myself, perhaps other people can relate to, is this. When you have lived such a life, we talk about poverty, such as my story, living in a refugee camp.
Right.
And now you have been presented a different landscape. It's a different landscape with new, different opportunities. Yet,
way better opportunities.
Yet, you continue to choose survival because that's what's familiar to you. But I'm saying survival doesn't have to continue to define your lifestyle. You have the opportunity now to thrive because you were meant to thrive. You were not meant to survive.
Change your mindset.
Change your mindset. You're not meant
I
to
love that.
to survive all your life.
Yes.
And that's why earlier in the interview I was saying what shifted for me is I literally just decided to change the way I solved my problems, identifying my primary resources, knowing that my optimal health is my primary resource, having optimal mental health, functional body, long-lasting energy, happy mind. Those are my primary resources.
I love that.
So that is what I mean.
I love
and
that.
Look at your life. People who are listening, they can look at their lives and say, oh, well, I don't have this, I don't have this. But when you make a choice, when you wake up tomorrow morning, right now say, my choice is to thrive, then guess what? The brain will show you all the ways you can thrive. And I talk about the rule of the brain. I inherited this from Marissa Peer. She's an amazing therapist. She talks about 7 rules of the brain. We can go through all of them. But one of them is whatever that you focus on, you ask your brain to focus on, is what the brain is going to focus on. You told me you didn't know about sleep, you all look into sleep. Once we start talking about sleep, now you think everybody is talking about sleep.
I've seen, even I'm just seeing sleep everywhere. I you know, like my social media is sleep is the main thing that's coming up. But Joseline, that is profound. Don't just survive. Thrive. Don't just survive. And I'll read you a sentence here because look, I wish you could see me reading these things. It's like you know, like it was just opening me up. And I love, you know, I say self progress.
Yes.
It's a work in progress.
Yes.
I have been working on myself.
Me too.
And I talk to people about working on themselves. So I'm not done. I'm still working on myself because like this is a new thing to me. Yeah. In this aspect, as in really putting my mindset into my sleep habits.
Yes.
And you have helped me do that. And so yes, and I hope it's gonna help you too. So listen, don't just survive, thrive. And Joseline says, page 6 of her book, she says, this book is an invitation and a support to live your new belief. So you have to change your mindset to be a new belief that you surviving that survival mode that you are at, you gotta believe and change that mindset, and that you deserve to not only survive but thrive. If you don't get anything else from this, get that. We, from where we come from, specifically us, and even most probably other people too, that is ingrained in us.
Yeah.
That is what we know.
Mm-hmm.
But you can thrive.
Yes.
Go enjoy what you have gotten from your surviving.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Because we keep searching. We
Yeah.
keep searching for wealth. We keep searching for happiness through looking for wealth, because basically what is happiness in our minds?
Mm-hmm.
Although happiness is a lot of other things, but
Yeah.
number one thing, because of where we come from, because of what we have gone through back home, lack of money, poverty, and all the things that you have mentioned, we just want more and more and more. What ends up, the other day I was told by somebody, I think it was being discussed somewhere, that we survive, we work, we die. During working, we forgot to put our things together. You don't even have a will. You don't, and then you have millions of dollars in the bank. Guess where the money goes?
Public trustees, something like that. I think I've helped. Yeah.
I'm like, what?
It goes to the
Yes. If you didn't write a will, nobody knows about it.
public trustee.
With all your doubles and lack of sleep, thrive. Don't just survive.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think we're gonna be ending this session pretty quick. Basically, this book is very, very interesting, very well written.
Thank you.
I love it. Not just saying it's a promotion or anything, but yes, I am promoting it too. Yeah. So get this book. Get this book. Tell them where you can how they can get it, or where he or she can get it. How your social media, of course. This is your podcast.
Yes.
But,
so yeah, thank you so much, Grace, by the way, for all the great questions, and thank you all for watching. And we really appreciate you being here with us, your energy. And so you can get my book at Amazon. Just type in Sleep Tight, the #1 secret to achieving your dreams. If you live in Vancouver locally, I can give it to you and sign it for you, because you are
like
here.
Mine is signed.
Yeah. So, and all the links will be left in the show notes. So, thank you very much indeed for being with us.
You're very welcome, and thank you for having me.
Yeah. Great.
All right.
All right.
Bye-bye.